Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a short character sketch. It is a Monday. This is the first time I picked up a pencil this morning. I had a pretty good weekend. I hope you all did as well. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So I spent about 15 minutes or so doing some character reference pulls. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Captain America, stylized sketch, character sketch. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm working out what kind of a gesture I want him to have. Obviously really rough. I'm not concerned really right now with getting all the proportions correct. I am concerned, however, with getting the attitude right. I watched a video yesterday from an artist that I really respect and you know, I don't want to say idolize because you know I don't like worshiping people at all and putting them up. But if there was ever an explanation for how I treat this person in terms of how I respect him in my mind, then yeah, I would say that I idolize him. He goes by the name of Aaron Blaise. Aaron Blaise, if anybody knows who Aaron Blaise is, then you know what he is and what he has done in his lifetime and who he is. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but suffice it to say, he was a Disney animator, graduate of Ringling College, was recruited by Disney and worked on a lot of their classic films, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King. I'm not sure if he worked on Pocahontas. I'm sure he's in somewhere around there, but he worked on the majority of the major films as an animator and you know character designer and whatnot, and just really seems to be a genuine great guy, really good at animals, and he's got this great web series, The Art of Aaron Blaise, and he's got a great website as well, creatureartteacher.com, and he sells brushes and tutorials and just overall a great guy, very encouraging. And I watched one of his animation tutorials yesterday, and he was explaining a wipe of one of the characters he was doing. I don't know really what he's doing in his private life. I know that he doesn't work for Disney full-time anymore. However, he still does, you know, pretty much everything that he used to do. He animates, character designs. He does, you know, private, you know, talks and whatnot for, you know, schools and budding artists and whatnot. But one of the great things that he does is and kind of something that I aspire to do as well, is he helps. I don't know how to explain it. He helps. You know, back in the day, whenever we didn't have this wonderful thing called the internet, it was very hard to get your stuff out. You know, I go on the internet today and I look around and I see so many incredible artists, you know, in the world. And the reason why we're seeing a lot of this, I think, is the opportunity to view all this information in a very readily accessible way. You know, back in the day, I remember when I was in school and I had the opportunity to do a report on an artist that I liked. And I was able to get the phone number from the school because this particular artist had contacts with the school. And I was able to call this person, you know, unsolicited. And, you know, he sat there and talked with me and gave me some pointers. And that was kind of, I don't want to say it was a turning point in my life, but it definitely was something that opened my eyes, because these people, you know, even though I'd idolized them and seen them in, you know, in print and in film, and I was like, you know, always thought to myself, gosh, you know, am I ever going to be able to have the opportunity to meet any of these people? And what's great about the internet today is, you know, you can, you know, whether it's on Twitter or whether it's, you know, through their website, you can email them and you can basically contact these professionals. And what's great about Aaron is the fact that he has a readily accessible forum and format for you to learn. And I'm a big proponent of learning. I always have been. I'm a big proponent of expressing, being able to better yourself as an individual, as an artist, as somebody that, wants to learn more about what you do. And, I'll be the first to say that, I'm continually learning. I'm continually trying to push that envelope. I'm trying to better myself as an artist, better myself as a person, better myself as, a human being on this planet to help others. But, it's just a wonderful thing nowadays whenever you can, access these people, and especially somebody like Aaron Blaze that has a real heart to teach. And you can tell that whenever he talks. So Aaron, make a long story short, Aaron, does traditional animation. Something that I feel is kind of it's not lost at all. There's a lot of people doing it. And, recently I had the opportunity to get a job as a 2D animator. And unfortunately, I couldn't find my traditional animation samples that I had done in college. I mean, it's been years and years. And, I couldn't find them. I have no idea where that stuff is. I mean, it's been so long since I've done, those particular things. And unfortunately, I was unable to get the gig, even though I have done traditional animation. And, could I do it? Yeah. But what's great about Aaron is he's still doing all these things. And one of the things he said was, in terms of proportion, in terms of what you're doing that particular moment on your piece of art, one of the most important things is acting. And I thought, okay, acting, attitude, especially in the beginning, whenever you're starting your piece out, you want, that attitude. There's attitude in everything. That's one of the things that I've always said to my kids. And, little did I know I'd actually be teaching myself, is attitude is altitude. Attitude is altitude. What does that mean, Mike? What does that actually mean? I mean, it's a great saying. The thing is your attitude is going to dictate to you how high you're going to rise in whatever industry or whatever you're going to be doing. The same thing happens whenever you're doing your artwork. Attitude is what rings through, not only in the character design, but also in the gesture, in the moment, in pretty much everything, pertaining to the artwork. How far you push the leg, how far you push, his feet, the curve of his foot, all of these things. You can argue that's part of the design. It is, but, the design a lot of times is really dictated by how much attitude you want to put in the piece. Now, the attitude can go awry, don't get me wrong, and it can really not read very well. But if everything goes right, my goodness, you could have an incredible attitude piece that really reads clear as far as what you're trying to convey, and that's all part of the questioning that you're going to go through whenever you do a piece of art. So right now I've kind of worked in my gesture, I've worked in the general proportions. I've got basically my line of action comes here, okay, and it basically all the direction is going this way, and then you have all of these curves and lines that are competing with each other, but also have a flow. There is a rhythm and flow in character design and in art in general. Whenever you're working, there is mathematical equations, there's all these computations that are going on in your brain, but at the end of the day, what happens is whenever you're doing stuff like this, it's a feeling. And that's a hard thing to convey to somebody, that doesn't understand how to draw. And what I equate to is this. In the morning, whenever you get up, okay, you've gotten up and you're kind of groggy. Maybe you've had some coffee, and you go in, and you put on. You're looking through your stuff to wear that day, and what happens is you put together these little packages. Okay, we all do it. We all have the ability to be creative, because if you didn't, then you'd basically, what would you wear every day? So you put together these packages, And the package is being what you're going to wear for the day. And you know immediately, you've already started formulating whenever you get up. Okay, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear? Okay, is today a jeans day? Is today a shorts day? Even subconsciously we do it. I think one of the great minds of our time, and some of the great minds, basically to eliminate that particular facet or aggravation, they wear the same thing every day. But as normal Joes, we take pride in the way we look, So you formulate this. Okay, this goes here. Okay, his shoulder goes here. So you got to think for a second. I'm talking too much. Okay. So, we formulate how we look. And whenever we look at ourselves, even before we look at ourselves, it's a feeling. And that feeling is kind of your subconscious creative muscle in your brain, and whether or not you consciously understand what's going on in your brain, you're being creative. And the same thing happens whenever it comes to, drawing and gesture. It is a feeling. It works. Either it works or it doesn't work. Now, I could sit here and hammer it, and I'm already telling you right now that this particular gesture is feeling pretty good. I mean, I've got my overall head, and then I've got, a nice leg that comes down here, and he's like pushing off with all of his weight, and he's carrying it, and this is the lead leg that comes in. I need to make this a little bit higher. So we'll do this. Okay. Here, and this leg comes down, and remember he's got some boots on. He's got these, I don't call them elf boots, but, they're Patriot boots. Grand Patriot boots where they use this to kick some Red Skull butt. So, anyway, what I'm trying to get at is gesture, attitude. Always thinking, how can I better improve this drawing? How can I make it better? How can I push and pull? Not only Aaron Blaise, but also all the other great cartoonists that I respect in the marketplace. Steven Silver is one of them. If you watch some of his videos, he's always like, how can you push the pose? How can I make it a little bit better? How can I push it? How can and you gotta always ask yourself these questions in the context of the drawing, because you want to put the best foot forward, And what I would normally do in a situation like this is basically, I'd shut my brain off, okay? What happens to me, okay, whenever I draw, I don't want to say shut my brain off. My brain takes over. Put it this way. My brain takes over, and who I am as, Mike, ceases to be. What happens is I turn on the switch in my head. I go into the world, and I start thinking, well, what is the story that I'm trying to tell with this particular drawing? What is the and all these things are going on in my head at the same time, and it's funny because whenever my wife, she would come and tell me something, and I would get mad. And the thing is I'm in my zone, man. I'm in my zone. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that moment. I'm feeling so enraptured in the drawing. I'm in my creative, element. I can feel the gesture. I can feel, what the drawing is doing. I can feel the character, what he's feeling. And then she's like, "What do you want for dinner?" Destroyed. What do I want for dinner? I don't care what I want for dinner. I want to draw, baby. And sometimes back in the day when I was younger, man, I would get pissed. I'd be like, "Don't come into my studio and do that." And of course, as a young individual, young married guy, you do things like that to. It's not an assertion. What happens is you don't understand the dynamic that you have as a married person, as a young married guy. And of course, after that happens, then you get in an argument, and then, you can't talk to me like that, And the thing is what she didn't understand is the same thing that I didn't understand. You know, I am trying to do something and I'm in my own world, whereas she's in her element trying to, you know, do things as well. And nowadays, now that I'm, you know, been married for quite a while, I understand you don't do things like that. And on the same accord, when she, you know, knows that I'm, you know, I'm drawing, you know, she formulates things a little bit different. Maybe she's like, "Are you going to go draw? Okay, well, what? Before you go in, can you answer a few questions? Because I know how you get." No problem. So, you know, as artists, we are fickle. we are our own people, you know, and we have a system in our own brain that we like doing things. And I got these lines of action here, which I don't really like using those that much. So he's got his little pedestal that he's kind of pushed up on. So anyway, what I'm basically getting at, and what I've always been getting at, and you know, I had somebody ask me recently, you know, why aren't your videos more popular? Why don't you have more subscribers? You know, you have decent content, you enjoy what you do, you love what you do. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I don't pay too much attention to the ins and outs of how YouTube works. You know, I'm sure I'm missing the magic button. There's always a magic button, right? Whenever it comes to, you know, finding or a magic way or an easy way or some kind of a way. The shadow comes around, you know. It's got some form. Give him a little bit of form here. You guys, I really don't know. If you know how I can make my videos more popular, you know, whether it's, you know, obviously I monetize with ads to, you know, try and make a few dollars here and there. But, you know, I've said before that I'm just interested in getting this stuff out. You know, if I make a few bucks, great. If I don't, then, you know, I don't really care. I use this as a platform to, you know, get the word out on what I like and how I can share. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know. Anyway, so if you guys know, you know, how to make the videos more popular, that's great. Because at the end of the day, what I'm really looking to do is to, you know, help that, you know, 12, 13, 14, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever artist that is interested in finding who they are as an illustrator, you know, somebody that tells stories with pictures and whatnot, and that's basically what I'm doing. You know, I'm interested in helping the guy or gal out that loves stuff like this, you know, and if I can, you know, help 1 or 2 people out of my lifetime, and that person can help, you know, 1 or 2 people in their lifetime, my goodness, we've changed the lives of you know, those people that, you know, otherwise would go and be in some kind of a service position serving others. You know, I don't know if it was the right thing to do, but it was what I did. That's kind of a cop-out, right? I did it, and it's done, and now I'm going and being on my way. The thing is I made a statement in one of my classrooms, and I tried to do it to inspire. You know, I don't do things to belittle, because that is just ignorant, and you never know how that's going to affect somebody. But what I said was, you guys, there's a lot of different types of people in the world. I said, but you can kind of classify them into, you know, for observational purposes. You know, you have your people that invent stuff and create stuff, and, you know, have the ideas, and they are the creators of your world. And then you have the people that serve. And I don't know if that was the best way to put it, because, you know, unfortunately, there's such a politically correct way of saying things like that. But honestly, you know, you have, you know, people that work at your service industry. You know, they have servers, they have, you know, waitresses and waiters, and then you have gas attendants and people that fix cars, and people that, you know, you go to the convenience store and they're there to, you know, to serve, and then you have, you know, the creatives. and the idea makers and the people that basically create the world around you. And I said, which one do you want to be? The slate is open. That's the thing. In today's society, in today's world, of course there's things that we have to overcome and, adversities and stuff like that. But the opportunities are still there. I mean, you don't live in a country where you're basically born and there's a caste system and you have no opportunities. If you try hard enough and if you work hard enough and if you meet the right people and, stick and stay, she's bound to pay. And at the end of the day, there's something's going to happen. I always used to say, it depends on the degree to which, you put forth the effort is going to deem your success. But it's more than that. It's you have to, it's who you know, it's luck, it's a lot of things. It's more than just effort these days. I mean, I've observed that tenfold, especially recently, because I've had such a hard time, picking up work, and it's hard to believe. I mean, I've got great experience, I've got a great philosophy, a great work ethic, and I really enjoy and love what I do, and I've had great success in what I do. Don't get me wrong, but on the other hand, it's who you know, because nobody wants to lose their job. If you have a full-time job, nobody wants to lose their job by hiring some guy that, doesn't know what he's doing. So there's that trepidation of doing that. But I think that, the opportunities these days are so great and grand and vast that it would behoove you to at least try. If you have a dream, try. So that is my 2 cents. That is my Monday Art Talk. That is my teaching for today. So this is Captain America. I'm going to go ahead and do a time lapse for you guys, and hopefully he'll come out nice and awesome on the other side. And like and subscribe. That's the only thing I can say. Like and subscribe, and I'll do more of these videos, and because I don't do this full time. Would I like to do videos full time? But also I'd want to be part of something bigger than me, and I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what we all long for. Whether it's something that you invent, whether it's something that you're a part of in terms of a company, you want to be something. You want to be part of something. I want to be part of something. I was part of a company for years and years, and it was something. And it was really cool because they had a great philosophy, and they had a great attitude, and they really valued the employees, and that was incredible. And I feel very blessed of the fact that I was able to do that. Things obviously change. Money changes people, and that happened. But on the other hand, I really enjoyed the time that I was there, and with Disney, whenever I was, working, doing stuff for Disney, as a contractor, just being part of that vision, being part of that crew, being part of that, it's a magical time, it truly is. And that's, I think, what I need to convey to you guys. Be part of something, whether it's your own idea, whether it's the company that you're working for. Don't belittle your situation, because I used to say, oh, it couldn't get any worse. It can't get any worse. My goodness, it can't get any worse. Well, yeah, it can. You break both your legs, you can become blind, and so I had to change the way I said things. So now I say it can only get better. That's kind of a good thing, right? It can only get better. Only get better, Your words have power. Remember that, guys. It always comes down to the fact that if you speak horrible things, even by observation, if you say, oh, I'm sick, well, yeah, you are sick, and you will be sick until you speak otherwise. Speak good things over your life. That old word that the world uses, karma. I don't particularly like using words like that, because I think that, as a part of who you are as a person, you make a big part of it is you. You make your destiny. But by speaking, the way you want things. So, but yeah, you definitely don't want to mess around with you know, the bad mojo. So anyway, this is the captain, little captain. I'm gonna go ahead and ink him and do a time lapse. Thanks guys, and please like and subscribe, and hopefully I can do more stuff like this. And thanks for visiting. Bye.